Our newest epic encounter boss box is the Cave of the Manticore, and many thanks to Steamforged Games for giving us a copy to review. Over the last few years, we've had a few more esoteric monsters in these boxes, but with the Manticore, we're getting back to the D&D classic creatures. Manticores can show up in most any campaign, and the epic encounter boss boxes like this one aren't just meant to be used as self-contained one-shots. If you get this box, remember that you have it. If you have a Manticore that shows up in whatever campaign you're running, or you just see a fun place to insert one, pull this box off your shelf. You can certainly use the mini and the maps, but you'll want to review the booklet because it helps you take your Manticore battles beyond the stat block to make them more cinematic, unexpected, and fun. And one thing that's easy to forget, Manticores are intelligent creatures who will smack talk your players. So like a lot of you, I bet, I've been sinking a lot of time into Baldur's Gate 3 lately, and one of my favorite things about it is hearing how the creatures like the Manticore are voiced and how they're portrayed. And I am definitely getting some inspiration for my real-world D&D campaigns. And is it just me, or was the voice of the Intellect Devourer one of the highlights of Act 1?
We are free. Our freedom is ours, friend.
Anyway, let's see what they've come up with this time in the Cave of the Manticore. Today's video is brought to you by Hit Point Press. The Imperfect sale is going on now. Get Imperfect animated spell decks, condition decks, the Deck of Illusions, and the Humblewood book or box set today for a massive discount. Supplies are limited, so be sure to check it out now using the info icon in the corner or the links below. And by the Deck of Encounters and Loot 5e Kickstarter from Tome of Summoning. Each monster card features a themed loot rolling table, offering delightful, dubious, or downright dangerous items. And each environment gets 4 tier-based encounter rolling table cards to keep your players engaged. Back within 72 hours for a free set of travel dice. Details in the info icon or the links down below. Opening up the box, we have our new painterly style map, a little advert, the booklet with the stat blocks and the info you need to run a Manticore encounter, some bandit tokens in case you didn't buy the bandit box, and finally the Manticore itself. If you're new around here, the boss minis from Epic Encounters come unpainted, but more or less fully assembled. For this fellow, you're just going to need to slot that little tail in. Now this is a tough looking Manticore. Spiked torn wings, nasty looking teeth, claws, barbed tail, twisted horns, ready to pounce on you from a rock outcropping. There's a lot for you painters to work with. As always, the included booklet gives you 3 different stat blocks depending on your tier of play or how much you hate your players. You have a CR3, 10, and 17 version. And the book lets you choose your flavor of Manticore. Are they doomed creatures unable to procreate? Can they only speak in the voices of those they've killed? Do they forever curse those who try to use them as mounts? Does their venom have incredible truth-telling properties? You can pick and choose what makes sense for your adventure, or use the included rumors as inspiration for your own stories. The booklet is going to give you a ton of lore and flavor and advice on making the Manticore feel like a real and scary adversary for your PCs. You're also going to get some story hooks to connect this encounter to your adventures. Maybe the monstrosity here starts chasing them through the forest, or the Manticore is driving a village to the edge of madness and they really need your help. Or a desperate wizard reaches out to your party to help him stop a monstrosity that he accidentally created. And there are other hooks as well, of course. And here is the included double-sided map done in the new painterly style that we first saw in the bandit box. Now typically with boss boxes we get the same general map features laid out in 2 different ways, but in this box we're getting a day and night version of the same map with only a few other slight alterations. Of course, there's all sorts of flavor text written for the features of the map, tactics for how the Manticore makes use of its environment in battle, and map-wide effects like high winds and slippery frozen surfaces, and the possibility of avalanches to play your characters. Then you get 4 main areas of the map that have their own special game mechanics. Specifically, you have the ice bridge, the climb up to the ice bridge, the spiky barricades, and that cave full of loot that the Manticore calls home. Finally, you get page after page after page of special actions that the Manticore can do outside of its stat block to make the encounter more entertaining. It can wrap itself up in its own wings for protection. It can grab heroes and fly them up in the air just to drop them from a great height. It can temporarily harden its skin for a higher AC or let out a frightening wail. There might even be traps buried in the snow from the bandits. Now, I did notice that this book does seem to contain one error. One extra ability seems to have snuck in from the dinosaur box that we reviewed last month. You can still find the nest of baby dinos, though I guess there's no reason why you wouldn't find a nest of baby dinosaurs in a Manticore's lair? Maybe they're baby Manticores instead, though then that whole not being able to procreate thing doesn't really work anymore. I don't know, you can find a way to use it. I do still see a little bit of room for improvement otherwise though. One thing I've consistently seen in these story hooks is that there are some very useful items that are mentioned that can be harvested from these boss creatures, like that truth-telling toxin that I mentioned earlier, and I'd love to see some magic item stats written up as loot for the beasts. I'd also love to see some role-playing advice for the intelligent creatures like this, with some sampled dialogue to help you game masters find that voice of creatures like this that can be a little bit more difficult to inhabit from an acting perspective. But ultimately, of course, it's another winning box from Steamforged Games. These are always some of my favorite boxes of the year, and I just can't wait to see what's next. If the next mini box is going to be Knowles, what do you think the boss box is going to be? I don't know, maybe a demon seems like a logical choice, but I can see a troll being interesting too. There are a lot of fun things you can do with a troll boss, so let me know what you think in the comments section below. Epic Encounters Cave of the Manticore is launching on August 22nd for between $40 and $50. Let me know what you think about it. Don't forget to back the Deck of Encounters and Loot 5e Kickstarter from the Tome of Summoning folks. You can get little cards like this for the owlbear with some loot, including a patch of feathers caked with manure or an intact owlbear egg. These are going to be great for your 5e games, and also get yourself some of the animated cards from the Imperfect sale before they sell out. You can get them dirt cheap right now. And you can also adopt yourself a cute little kobold like this and deck him out in a barbarian outfit, or like we have here for Flick, we have him in the druid outfit. You can find all those at heroplush.com. And follow us on social media or Discord for all the latest mini news. But for now, stay safe, have fun, love each other, and I will see you next time at the Gallant Goblin.